Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sarah's Table. As you can see, I am all alone here today. I'm going to be doing a solo adventure that I am sort of smashing together and figuring out as I go, which I'm very excited about. My name is Sarah Moore. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm going to be your host tonight and your game master and your player and your favorite person. I'm going to remind you, as always, to drink some water. Just like a little sip. Just a little. I don't think that there's anybody that I know that is hydrated enough. So just have a little bit of water. And we are heading up to Valentine's Day, which is like a very polarizing holiday, which I think is really funny. Because at its core, it's celebrating this thing that we, as a society, seem to value quite a bit. It's celebrating love. And I understand that that can be difficult for folks who don't have a romantic love in their life. And I've met a lot of people who get very cynical about this holiday in particular. But I think love comes in a ton of forms. And I think that it's a fundamentally good thing. Love is good. We need it in our lives as humans. It represents connection for us. And so I thought I'm going to lean into it and I'm going to use a little bit of cliche Valentine's Day stuff. I have here a box of Valentine's Day chocolates. They smell really good. And I'm going to play a game called Like a Box of Chocolates, which is a sweet system agnostic TTRPG by Anita Wiebe. This is, I don't know if you can even see it. It's just she released it on Twitter. It's just this is it. This is the whole game. And I would say, as you can see, a third of that is just a picture of the chocolates, which is great, which means that there's not a ton of rules that you need to figure out in this game. And so to make it a little bit easier on myself, I'm combining that with my Dungeons and Dragons tarot deck, where when you draw cards and you flip to what they mean, instead of giving myself a reading, they also give you a prompt of what could happen when you have that card. So for example, the Magician, if you draw that card, you meet a sage who gives you a key that opens a magical lock. And so I'm going to craft this story using prompts from the D&D tarot card deck. And then I'm going to resolve the things that happen using the rules for Like a Box of Chocolates, which I have to tell you is basically just eating a box of chocolates, which is 100% why I chose to do it. I mean, yes, it's very appropriate for Valentine's Day, but I really like chocolate. Just have a sweet tooth. Anybody who knows me knows that I have a sweet tooth. And so I thought gosh, what better way to celebrate this holiday about love, which I just love so much. What is a better way than to play a game where, in order for me to determine the outcome of things that happen, I have to eat chocolate. Oh my gosh. It's like a dream, truly. So, Anita, you don't have any idea how happy you've made me by creating this game. Before we dive into it, I am going to do our safety discussion. Obviously, I know where my lines and veils are. I am not going to cross them in this solo adventure. But you, lovely folk who are watching at home, I would very much like to let you know what sort of game you are in for if you are brand new to Sarah's Table. Here on Sarah's Table, you will never find sexual violence, violence against children, or withholding food as punishment or starvation. So this is going to be, as described, just like a sweet little adventure. We hope. Let's go over the rules. They're very simple. Get a box of chocolates. I've done it. I've gotten a box of chocolates. Preferably without the map. If it comes with one, throw the map away. You will not need it. So inside this box of chocolates, opening it up, there is no map. I've taken it out. It's gone. There are 5 pieces of chocolate. And I do not know what kind each piece of chocolate is. They look all different. The only thing that I had to do, because I have some funky allergies, is that when I was scouting for a perfect box of chocolates for this, first of all, my God, this smells so good. Really excited about this. When I was scouting for them, I double checked that they didn't have any of my allergies in there. So I do know vaguely what sort of flavors are involved, but only because I didn't want them to cause a reaction on stream. I feel like that would ruin everyone's Valentine's Day. Frankly, certainly it would ruin mine. Okay, I have done this. Begin a story. The story and setting is entirely up to you. Anytime you have to complete a difficult task, select a chocolate from the box and eat it. Here are some of the examples. Slaying a dragon, convincing the guard to free your allies, finishing a hefty to-do list in the face of ADHD, etc. Was the chocolate a flavor you like? You succeed. Things go on as planned. Progress the story accordingly. Did you get a flavor you don't like? You fail. Things go horribly or comically wrong. Let the story unfold through successes and failures. For good or ill, the story ends when the box is empty. Basically, I have 5 rolls to get through my story. So it's not going to be like a giant story. I considered buying a very big box of chocolates in order to tell a longer story because I wanted you, the viewers, to get your money's worth on this week's Sarah's Table. But then I thought, we don't want to put ourselves into sugar shock, and I'm going to be responsible and only have 5 pieces of chocolate. I also have, as you saw earlier, a giant glass of water so that I can sort of continue to cleanse my palate between. Woof. All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm excited to get started. I'm going to start out by shuffling these tarot cards. They are regular tarot card size. I found them at my local bookstore, just nestled between the New Age witchy section and the RPG D&D section, which just, if that doesn't exactly describe where I live, then I don't know what we're doing here, frankly. All right, just gonna keep going. Character-wise, I feel like I'm just like an adventurer. We're in the world of D&D. And probably some sort of just like you're run of the mill. I don't think I'm super high level. I think that I'm just an adventurer, just hanging out, going about my day. Let's see what happens. So I am going to pull a card. It is the 9 of Charisma. Oh, she looks like a pirate. She's pretty dope looking. The 9 of Charisma. Let me see what you say. What sort of thing do you give me? Flipping back to the Minor Arcana of Charisma. We're going to the 9. Something is digging tunnels under the city, and you have been asked to investigate. Okay. So, pick up this job, maybe at a tavern, maybe at a cafe. Let's buck the norm, right? I'm at a cafe instead. And maybe that's just because I just got done reading Legends and Lattes. But like I'm at a little fantasy coffee shop and somebody comes in and they offer me this job. They're like, hey, there is something digging tunnels under the city. You check it out. It's more annoying than dangerous. And I say, sure, I can help. So I go down into the tunnels and perhaps foolishly do not take anyone with me because that seems like a smart thing to do is like take some folk with me, but like I don't need to take anybody with me. I'm strong and capable, right? Super. So I head down there and it's big. The tunnels are really big. Bigger than I was expecting. Like I can walk completely upright in them. And I come around the corner. And I'm gonna grab here we go. I'm taking one. Because I want to know if this is like a dangerous thing or a non-dangerous thing. So I took this little rectangle one. It smells good. Smells like chocolate. I mean, they all smell like chocolate. To be fair, let's bite in. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it's very dangerous to me. It's like an orange cream situation, which is not my favorite, but like isn't bad. Pretty tasty. So I'm gonna say it's not super dangerous for me. I am picturing. Do you guys like that I invited you here just to watch me eat? Weird day, but welcome. I am picturing like those big giant mole creatures from Avatar: The Last Airbender that Toph like rides on. I think they're just like scooting around. I think they are looking to make a new home, to sort of burrow into safety. And now that I've discovered this, see what else happens. The Two of Wisdom. Man, that looks like a big creature, scary thing in the background. The Two of Wisdom. The next step in my journey. Two of Wisdom. Okay, here we go. You are approached by the captain of the city guard to see if he will track down and capture a dangerous criminal. Okay, so I am able to chat with, well, not like chat, but like I'm able to sort of lead these mole creatures to an area of the city where their burrowing and tunneling will not cause problems. And when I come out, feeling quite good about myself, I have to say, the captain of the guard finds me, and he has heard of my exploits, how I was able to sort of move these beasts, which I think a lot of people were seeing as very dangerous and scary, when in reality, they were just like not really hurting anybody. They're just big, but fairly docile, I think. But I think I was a little cocky about it. And I think that when he was like, I have a job for you, I was like, yeah, I'm your girl because I'm amazing. And I just came out of this thing and I felt great. And then he said, cool, go find this dangerous criminal. And I'm gonna say it is a criminal. It is a murderer. Like he's out on a spree. He is indiscriminately like stealing things and not caring about the body count that he is dropping. I am out of my depth here. I'm gonna give it a shot because he believes in me. So I think I can probably do it. Um they happen to know exactly where he is because he is not uh subtle in his route across the city. And I catch up with him. And like as an adventurer, I think I probably have some combat skills, but I don't think that like I am not traditionally, I do not play like the super big, strong bruiser kind of fighter characters. And so I catch up with him and we end up in this like standoff and it's a fight. So I'm going to take another thing and see how the fight goes. It is a square. Man, I gotta tell you, it's really frustrating to me that smelling them really does not give me any idea of what's on the inside. Okay. All right. So we're in this fight. I guess we rolled initiative by taking out chocolates. Let's see how it goes for me. Um, hmm. I have no idea what that flavor is. Strawberry? I gotta know. Is this riveting? Like Sarah guesses flavors. um, it was very messy, which I don't like. It spilled like onto my lap. I don't know how I feel about this one. Yeah, I still can't figure out what that flavor is. I think it's maybe supposed to be strawberry. I don't love it. I'm gonna tell you. Um, which means things according to the rules, that means that things go badly, horribly or comically wrong. Um, I think this dude gets away. Again, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. We've talked about this. I think he gets away, and I think that he probably injures me pretty bad. I think I end up in the medic tent. It's not a good scene. It's not a good scene. And what happens to me in the medic tent? Let's find out. I drew temperance. The major arcana. What happens to you in the medic tent, Sarah? Ba-ba-da-ba-bow. Turning to temperance. Oh, well, that's nice. You gain advantage on your next 1d6 wisdom saving throws. So, like, I think in my brain, this means that they were able to heal me up really, really well in the medic tent. right? Like I was there. Like I probably came in and they needed to like stitch me up because I was in this fight and feeling pretty down on myself. Um and so I like this game doesn't have advantage, disadvantage, although I suppose you could like draw two and eat and blah blah blah, whatever. But um yeah, I think that this means that in the tent things went well for me. So I am all healed up, probably magically. I feel like this is a magic situation. I come out feeling good. I have to go back and report to the captain of the guard, like, hey, I'm really sorry. I wasn't able to get him. He almost took me out, kind of a deal. And so I sort of head home, do a little rest. We're gonna start my next day. Looking for another job, like gig work, right? I don't think that we have discussed enough on this show or just in general how like adventurers are just the fantasy version of gig workers, which is frustrating. In that I am a gig worker in real life and just this like constant hustle, right, of having to like find another job and do another thing when like, and then you think of the idea of like, I'm gonna go play this escapist game and I'm gonna go do this thing, and then it's not gonna be like real life. And when in reality in this game you are like constantly searching for the next job. um Wow, I just feel like I've had like some weird revelation. I don't know how I feel about it. Um, yeah, very weird. Let's see what next gig comes my way. The Six of Charisma. He looks fancy. Six of Charisma. What do you have to say for yourself, sir? Maybe I'm back at that coffee shop. It's probably my favorite place. I'm in there. I've got like a fantasy scone and like a big, strong cup of coffee. And because it's me, I'm going to be 100% honest and say it probably tastes like cake. Interested to know what that is like in in fantasy settings. In Legends and Lattes, it was the gnomes who figured out how to brew coffee. So maybe that's this. Okay, here we go. I'm sitting in there, hanging out, drinking my coffee, maybe feeling a touch sorry for myself that I wasn't able to complete the job from the day before. But like not super sorry for myself because I also led a whole bunch of moles away from the city, and that I feel is helpful. And this old mariner comes in, takes a seat, takes a liking to me. This old man of the sea situation, and he tells me the precise location of a legendary shipwreck off the coast. I love a treasure hunt. Oh boy, I love treasure hunts. And again, we're gonna dive into Sarah's personal life. Like, what are you into right now, Sarah? I am watching the new series on Disney Plus, the National Treasure series, which like started out in this like very small, like chill sort of like, ooh, there was a hidden room and it had a clue, and it has spiraled into like a prison break in Mexico. This series is wild, but I love treasure hunts. I love heists, and like I understand that they're not like Oscar worthy sort of movies. But like, damn it, I love those National Treasure movies. They're just so silly and fun. And like, sit down and make yourself popcorn. All this to say that if Fantasy Sarah is anything like regular Sarah, she is jumping at the idea of being able to go check out the shipwreck, get some like amazing loot that nobody has found for years and years. So yeah, so I'm going. Here we go. I go by myself. Obviously, I go by myself. You can't trust anybody. If those movies have taught me anything, right? Like you have to be very careful of who you trust. So I'm off. I'm off. Here we go. I go out to this location. I look around. I find what I think is the ship, and I'm gonna grab a chocolate to tell me if I find something great there, or if I find something not great there. I'm gonna grab. Okay, I'm gonna grab this boy. He's a little circly. He's got like a little design on him. And he's like a traditional like bonbon shape. Okay. Let's try it. Mmm. Oh man. Okay. This is like caramel inside. Ooh, which is a big favorite of mine. A favorite. Mm. Happy Sarah dance. Okay. So I think I find a very fancy magic item. It takes me a while. Probably takes me the whole day, right? I'm in there looking around. And I uncover like I think it's a magic ring. Yes, I think it's going to be some sort of magical jewelry, a ring, a cup of some kind, like a necklace, something small that would be easy to lose inside the shipwreck. I think everything else has been sort of like definitely stripped away. There's probably like, rotting away, like remains of chests and like boxes and stuff, and everything's been very weathered. And I think it's a ring. Put that ring on. I don't know what the ring does yet, but something good. I don't know if it makes me more brave or perhaps stronger, but like I think we'll discover what it does in the next encounter. I find it, I consider selling it, but like it's really pretty. I think it has a stone. It's Valentine's Day. This is the Valentine's Day thing, so I think it's going to have like a red stone in it of some kind. Just really lovely. All right, I'm ready. What are we doing next? Oh, interesting. I'm going to head back to town. I'm going to be wearing my new ring. 2 of strength. I think because I took all day, I head back home. I take a little rester, and the next morning I'm back at the coffee shop. 2 of the 2 of strength. On my way to the coffee shop, there in the alley, like next to it, somebody calls out to me, drunken beggar in an alley, swears to you that he saw the prince turn into a werewolf. There have been grisly killings in the city. And I'm going to say that there's kind of a hubbub around it, right? Like he starts talking, he says his stuff. and he attracts the attention of the guard. And the guard, it's, of course, it's the captain of the guard, right? It's the same one that I wasn't able to help the last time. For some reason, he like thinks maybe I'll be able to help with this one. And he ushers us off to the palace to go have this interview with the prince. Takes us both. These are serious accusations. Probably not a good idea to just be yelling them out as you're doing stuff in the city. Just like yelling about leadership being werewolves. I don't think that this is a political commentary on like the policies of the crown. I feel like this drunken beggar is maybe more like he means it as like an actual werewolf. Okay? I don't know. Maybe it's like a very clever ruse, and he's talking about like how he feels like the crown is they're just animals and they're exploiting people. I don't think there's a lot of nuance. I think this dude smells pretty bad, and I think that he believes that he saw it. So we're in the middle of this conversation with the prince. And it's starting to get pretty tense. They have ushered the beggar away under the guise of like, they're going to give him some food. They're going to give him some water. They're going to give him some strong coffee, try to sober him up. They told me they were going to make sure that he had a bath and a warm place to sleep and some new clothes. Sounds very nice. Okay. So now I'm chatting with the prince, and I'm trying to question him about what he's heard about. I noticed that maybe he's got like some like what look like wounds on his head, like scratches and stuff on him. Let's see what happens. We're going to eat this heart. Don't fail me now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just like a regular filled chocolate, not salad. Like it's softer inside, but it's not like there's nothing fancy about it. So I don't dislike it, which means that it doesn't go horribly wrong. Prince does not turn into a werewolf in front of me, which is great. I don't want to be a werewolf. But it's also not like one that I love. It's not really good. What flavor I like. I feel like this is a neutral outcome. I think that I have very strong suspicions that the prince is indeed a werewolf. But I'm just like not able to prove it at all. Well, this is one of those situations where like my insight check didn't roll high enough. I wasn't able to convince him to confide in me. I think it's like inconclusive. And so, I tell the captain of the guard, like he and I have no quarrel. I found no conclusive evidence that he is indeed a werewolf. And so we should keep an eye out for other stuff. Finally now heading to get my coffee. And I got the hermit. What does the hermit have to say? These illustrations are very pretty. All right, hermit. The hermit, where are you? You meet a monk who is looking for worthy adventurers to defeat a magical monster. Okay. So I head back. I get myself a coffee. I get myself a pastry. I have earned a pastry. I think, you know, just like a big, giant, flaky croissant, like really buttery, just sounds really delicious. But I think the coffee shop is pretty like busy now. And I feel really unsettled because I just had to have this interview with royalty, and that's not a thing that happens to me very often, I would say. So I get my stuff to go and I'm gonna head home, sipping my coffee on the way home. I think maybe I didn't even do coffee. I think maybe I did like a hot cocoa situation with like a little bit of cinnamon in it and like really tasty stuff. Like I am just like big steaming mug of comfort, right? And then this big buttery croissant, and I'm heading home. And I think there is a dude on my doorstep. I don't know why he's there. I don't know why he chose me. Perhaps it is because I, several days before, was able to handle those big dire moles under the city. Maybe it has something to do with the fancy ring that I just found. We don't know. Whatever it is, he is waiting for me. And he says there is a magical monster outside the city. And he would like my help defeating it. I don't feel great about that, but I'm gonna give it a shot because I think when mysterious hermit monks seek you out, especially as a gig worker, I think you take the job, you know? You're being recruited. Your skills have reached, it's like somebody on Glassdoor wrote about how great you were. This is great. This is great. Like, this is a job that I don't have to seek out, right? Like, I don't have to go on the bulletin boards. Somebody came to me with this. And I got a rent to pay. So I'm going to do it. He takes me outside the city. Obviously lets me gear up, do all of that stuff, and make it outside the city. And the magical monster that he is having me go after is what looks like an alicorn. For those of you who are not super familiar with either mythology or My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, an alicorn is a combination unicorn and Pegasus. So it is a winged horse with a single horn, purported to be incredibly magical, but potentially dangerous, but also like they're so pretty. And I think that depending on the mythos in this particular world, that like, you know, I think that like an alicorn could probably super kill you if it wanted to. It's got that horn that could probably gore you. It is a flying creature, so it can be hard to reach. It is magical. And I think that this is one of those like a in the wild kind of like this like an unbroken, this is definitely not a domesticated kind of unicorn. I know there are some knights that like ride on unicorns, but like this is not that. This is a wild creature. And I think I have a conversation with the hermit that's like, hey man, I don't feel comfortable killing this creature. And I tell him I don't want to do that. And he agrees. You don't have to kill it. You can defeating it is really just like making sure that it is not going to cause harm. So that could be drawing it away from the city so it doesn't come in. That could be That could be killing it if you so choose. That could be like befriending it. Um, I'm starting to think that, like, yeah, maybe the actual reason for sure is because I was able to move those moles away from the city. I have like a kinship with these animals. And I want to make sure, but I think this is like a wild stallion situation, not like Bill and Ted Wild Stallion, although I'm down. Like station. I think that like it's like a a herd of wild horses. They do not listen to you. Um, so I think I spend a long time out in the field. I like um sort of make sure that I look non-threatening, which like clearly looks unthreatening, right? Like I go out and I make sure that I don't have my weapons on me, which is maybe not a smart choice, but like I'm gonna win over this creature with love and caring. And so I go out and I sit in the middle of the field where it is running around, and I let it get used to my presence, and I just sort of like create a sense of calm. And I think eventually it approaches me, and there's one left. I don't know what's in it. Okay. This is the only one left. This is the end of my story. This could potentially mean that I could get a alicorn friend, or it could mean that I am gored to death by an alicorn. All right, we're gonna try. Let's try. Hey, hey, let's try. And like, if it doesn't work out in my favor, you know, we gave it a valiant effort. Here we go. Mm-hmm. 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 This is the chocolate equivalent of rolling a natural 20, because this is vanilla caramel in milk chocolate, which is maybe my favorite kind of chocolate ever. So, mm. This means that your girl just got herself an alicorn friend. Um, I think that it takes a while. I think that the two of us are chatting, and you know what I think it is? I think that the ring that I was able to find is pretty red ring. I think the stone glows a little bit, and I think that it is like it allows me to communicate with the alicorn directly. Sort of like a speak with animals kind of situation. And I already was good with animals because I had already dealt with like the moles and all of that. And I think that like this alicorn and I become like super good friends. We could become companions. I think he's probably pretty ferocious if he would like to be. And so I think that together he and I go on like big adventures. We do more jobs together. What a wonderful little epilogue that is. So what else happened? I think I am able to use this ring to also chat with um to also chat with the moles again, make sure that they are comfortable. I think they assist me a little bit. I think I'm able to move out of my garbage place in the city, which was very small, and like it was fine, but like it was little. And so I think that like they can help me get myself some place just outside of the city so that I can live with the alicorn. I think that the prince absolutely was a werewolf. I think he totally was. And I think that in the future we're gonna have to take care of him in some way, but like that's a big job. I probably can't do it myself. I probably can't even do it just me and my alicorn. I think there's probably like a gonna have to gather some folk. It's a long-term project. Gonna have to outsource a little bit. I think that the person that got away, the thief with no regard for human life, I think is caught by the captain of the guard. I think he is off the streets. He is no longer causing problems. I am gonna say that the person, because it is Valentine's Day, I think that the medic who helped heal me up, I think that I start like a little romantic dalliance with them, and perhaps they eventually move in with me outside of the city. Um, I think that I think that the hermit and the old like man of the sea, I think they were the same person. I think that the old man from the sea, I think he was the hermit in disguise, and I think that he was leading me to get this ring so that I could go out and deal with the alicorn. Um, yeah, I think that was great. That was fun. Um, but I did draw one more card to sort of like I've come up with all that stuff. I drew the sun. Beep. There it is. Drew the sun. And what exactly, and I'm gonna read what I think like the next steps are. And I'm instead of the quest that it would give me, I'm going to the sun is the meaning of it is returning to the innocence and vitality of childhood. I think maybe that Fantasy Sarah's story ends with adding a child to the family. I don't know that if that is by natural means or adoption, because or magical means, perhaps, because just like real life Sarah, I think Fantasy Sarah is queer, so her partner may not be a man. But I think that they expanded their family. I think if we check back in with them later, we will see that they have a little one running around. That was super fun. And the box is now empty. So for good or ill, the story has ended. Although I think it ended for good. I think it was a good outcome. Maybe you disagree with me, but like I feel like Fantasy Sarah did a lot of great stuff. It was a packed week. But she did some good stuff. So, if you would like to play this game, you can go check out Anita's socials and find it there. It is at Panita, Panita, at Panita, and you can find it there. I also think like what a fun thing to do at like a game night. To be using this. Maybe that is the use case for like a giant box of chocolates and say like, okay, well now we're all gonna the next couple of rounds, we're going to like determine by reaching in there, grabbing some kind of sweet and letting us know if it tastes good or not. I think that there's a lot of good opportunity for hijinks and really funny reactions to biting into a thing that you're like, oh no, it's bad. I hate this. As always, a quick disclaimer that if you are going to have food at the table, that you just double check everybody's allergies. We don't want things to go horribly wrong because somebody had an allergic reaction. That's no fun. But I really do enjoy the mechanic where it's not dice that are telling you how to do something. Also really digging these cards. I started just doing pulls recently, and I just, and they're all really, really pretty. See if it'll focus on it. Yeah. Don't know who did the art for these. I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Fred Gissubel, Gissubel, professional illustrator and designer from Pennsylvania. Well, listen, Fred, your stuff is beautiful. Really cool stuff. And there's a lot of the D&D like fantasy races represented here. And, it just looks like really pretty adventuring art. And I really love that I was able to combine it in a non-traditional way with another system as not agnostic rule set. I think that this is a really great way to sort of break your group out of D&D if you are in a group that only runs D&D. I know that there's, D&D 5e is very prevalent and it is out there. And I also know that there are a lot of people right now who are searching for, I think this one's very cool, searching for other games to play. And I also know that people get very nervous about playing games that are not something that's within their comfort zone. I most often get, when I am recruiting folk to come on my show and I'm like, hey, I want you to play this game. It's, most often it is a game that they have never heard of because I have the privilege of being able to find games that are brand new, sometimes not published, sometimes kickstarting, or just they don't have a lot of oomph behind them marketing wise. And so the number one comment that I get from people is, I'm worried that I will look silly because I don't know the rules. And like, first of all, I always look silly, and that's totally fine with me. I have embraced that. Maybe it's because I was a theater major in college of just like, if you feel like you look silly, that you will. But if you're okay with just like going all in, people will get caught up in that enthusiasm, which is sort of how I live my life. But I think that like pairing a game like the one I played today, like a box of chocolates, with a familiar setting and some familiar themes can help show your group who, if they feel stuck in the D&D world, that like it's a storytelling. You know how to tell a story. You don't need to stay in the same system every time. It is okay for you to branch out. With Valentine's Day and with the idea of love and joy and choice. I would like to challenge you, it's Valentine's Day, to pick up a system just because, like, that you haven't played before, just because you love a single part of it, right? Like maybe, man, you have always loved princesses. Awesome. Pick up the excellence by 9th level. Maybe you have always wanted to play a god because you just like love the mythology. Rad. Go play the crowned. Maybe you have an idea that you've always wanted to play in like a fairy tale world. Pick up We're All Mad Here. I think that you can express your love of RPGs in a way that is open and inclusive. And if you are worried about rules, how you're going to get people to play with you, maybe do a soft intro, and at session 0, you build your characters and then you throw like a box of chocolates on it. And everybody gets a sweet treat. And then everybody gets to learn who their character is without having to worry about if they're playing the rules exactly correctly. Yes, do that. And then like, tell me how it went. Find me on all my socials. I'm at Pixies and Pins everywhere on the internet. And I would love to hear how your chocolate eating went. You guys just watch me eat chocolate for like an hour. So like, I think it's your turn. Go have yourself some chocolate. I would like to thank Anita for making this game, because chocolate and Valentine's Day and joy. I would like to thank Gen Con for giving me this platform, because listen, if 14-year-old Sarah found out that as an adult, she would get to eat chocolate on a stream while playing a game and have that be her job, she would lose it for real. So thank you, Gen Con, for letting me spotlight games and figuring out all of this cool stuff and sharing it with everyone. Thank you to Jeff Moore, my partner, who is also my editor, and he's going to put this in the box that you see on the screen right now. It's definitely already there. Probably. I don't know. Thank you to Marcus Mays for being Johnny on the spot. He's our tech at Gen Con TV. Thank you to all of you at home who have gone on this weird, self-indulgent, lovey, sweet-filled journey with me today. Yeah, like, and if you are one of those people who is cynical about Valentine's Day, and I've heard all of the arguments, right? It is a Hallmark holiday. It is made up to sell chocolates and flowers. It is made up to sell cards. It is a consumerist. I just want to like challenge you to find a thing in your life that you love unabashedly, right? It can be your partner. It can be your children. It can be your pet. It can be yourself. It can be kind of anything, right? Like, even if it's something as little as like, oh man, I just love pizza. Awesome. I want you to find that feeling and just like really sink into it. Yeah, perhaps Valentine's Day started because the greeting card companies needed something to sell more cards for. But like, is it such a bad thing to want to celebrate how much you love someone? I don't think so. So I think like Like find a thing. What's the thing you love? Tell me the thing you love. I can't wait to hear it. Find me on those socials. Tell me what you love. And as always, keep making art and keep being art. I will see you next time. Mwah!